Hey guys, it's Jonah here, and we're back with another exciting episode of Digesting Beer. Well, hopefully it's exciting. I've got some good feedback anyway, and this is another staple to my channel. And as you know, I'm a bit brassic. Look it up, man. You'll work it out. And I can't afford too much beer, so my reviews are going to cut down slightly. I've still got a lot of homebrews to review, which is where I picked up this topic for my new series, Digesting Beer. How, or should you, or why should we go about aging beers? Could be homebrews, it could be shop-bought beers. Why should we do it? Why should we try and do it? And what are the pitfalls of doing it? Anyway, I'm a bit thirsty, so I think I should digest some beer. Oh, and this one is a beer that I've had for a long time, so it's quite prevalent to what we're talking about tonight. Now, I've had quite a few beers that I've been aging up, and some of them have worked quite well through the aging process, and some of them haven't worked so well. The main problem, I think, is with, especially with pale ales and slightly lower ABV ales, is that the bittering tends to separate out. So say you've got an IPA and you age it for a year, I think some of the aroma drops out and you get extra bitterness in your beer, something to do with the acid formation and probably to do with oxidization as well. Although, that said, I've actually looked at Dogfish Head, who are, you know, one of the crazy American IPA brewers, and they say that their 120-minute double IPA gets better with time, and if you age it for 2 years plus, it gets really good. I think that's probably for people that are just addicted to hops, and don't forget, hops is closely related to cannabis, and you can get addicted to hops, so be careful guys, especially all you hopheads out there. But yeah, they say that they mentioned the 120-minute IPA, the one that basically they're adding hops to throughout the whole boil, 2 hours worth of boil, and they're keeping adding hops to it. Ridiculous, I know, but hey, that's what these guys do. Yeah, apparently it ages very well. I think more sort of dark beers and especially high alcohol beers kind of age well. So we're talking things like stout. Stout definitely gets better with age in the bottle. Obviously, if we're talking about kegs, it's slightly different, but you could think of a keg as a big bottle. Not sure if you're talking about, I was going to say a fake carbonated. I mean, you know, one that's been carbonated unnaturally. We're not talking real ale, we're talking force carbonated. I forgot the term then. Man, what's in this beer? I suspect that the force carbonated beer won't do so well as a naturally carbonated one, if that makes sense. But we're definitely thinking the darker beers, the higher ABV beers, will serve much better than, say, a lighter beer. Talking about the IPAs, which obviously the American IPAs, yeah, they tend to be in fashion at the moment. But the old school, the Indian pale ales, if you imagine when they were first made, they were highly hopped, then put on a boat, and the boats would take 3 to 6 months to get to where they were going. So, you know, they're going to be aging a bit on the journey. So, hey, that's a form of aging too. But personally, I think the darker beers age much better. If we're talking about a light beer that's quite high ABV, have a look at Hepworth Noel beer, or Noel beer. It's the Christmas beer from Hepworth, and I think it's somewhere up 7%, 7.5%, something like that. It's not super high at ABV, but that beer definitely gets better over time. And if you look on the bottle, it even tells you you can age them 1 to 2 years and they get much better. So say your traditional winter warmer beers will get much better with age. Storage. Now this is the other thing about aging beers. You can really screw up a beer if you age it in the wrong way. Now, some of the beers that I've been aging, and it's more new through neglect than anything else, they've been in my shed. And in the winter, that's perfect. Nice and cool. You get a slightly kind of moisturised environment, slightly damp. Perfect. In the summer, it's blazing hot, and the sun beats down on the windows. So the sun, one thing, don't age your beers in the sunshine. Make sure they're in a box out of the sun. But two, you don't really want a high change in the temperature. So a shed is probably not the best place to put your beers. If you haven't got a cellar or a basement or something like that, a garage up against the back wall, the wall that doesn't get the sunshine, that's going to do you fine. A lot of people have these crates, you know, milk crates or beer crates specially made for beers, and they stack them up in either their garden shed or in the back of their garage. I'd say put it in the garage, much better than putting it in your garden shed. Good thing about beer, especially with hops, a heavily hopped beer, not talking lagers and stuff, talk about the hop beers, is that hops actually work to prevent spoilage. So technically your higher level hops, your IPAs and stuff like that, should last longer, but they will get a lot more bitter, to take that into account. Yeah, hops himself has antibacterial qualities, so your beer theoretically should never go off. And I found a homebrew in my parents' loft that I made nearly 20 years ago when I was a student, and I drank it, and it was unbelievably crisp, very crisp, but it wasn't bad. I couldn't say it was a bad beer. So you've got to think about where you're going to store your beers. I know there's a few people, Big Secu, he's a man, he stores his in his loft. Obviously your loft floor is insulated, so you don't lose heat. However, the top of your loft, i.e. the roof of your house, definitely gets the sun beating on it, and it can get really warm in the summertime up in your loft. So unless it's stored very well, you know, in some sort of insulated thing, that's probably not the best place. Sorry, big man, but you know what I mean. The best advice, and we're coming to the end now, and you can argue with me as much as you like, put it in the comments below. When you click subscribe, make sure you put a comment in there, because a couple of people have thumbed down my videos and not made any kind of comment why they thought it was bad. That's no good, man. It means I'm going to just ignore what you're saying because you're not actually telling me what you're saying. So make sure you add a comment if you're going to argue with me. That's fine. I've got no problems with you arguing with me. But yeah, the final thought in this video is do some experimentation. And I am currently, if you are a subscriber to this channel or if you've watched some of my other videos, I bought 2 beers on exactly the same day, and I drank one and reviewed it on camera, and I'm keeping the other one for a year, maybe a year and a half, and then I'm going to drink that one and do a review. And then we can compare the 2 reviews and see what's changed in that beer. That beer happened to be a Belgian ale, a Trappist one, and I know that the Belgian beers especially age really well. Don't ask me why they do. Maybe it's because they've got a bit more malt in and they can change over time. But yeah, that's just a guess. But those beers do a lot better with age. If you're into home brewing, brew firm who do those kind of Abige and Framboos and all these weird Belgian styles, if you age those beers, they, oh man, they totally change. They change into something amazingly good. So if you're going to try those ones out, make sure you've got some time. Think of them as though they were mead instead of beer. Oh my God, mead aging. That's another topic altogether. I won't even try and tackle that one today. But yeah, like I've done, and like I say, experiment with your brews. Buy a couple of the same beer, drink one, write your tasting notes, even do a review on YouTube, and then come back to it after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, however long you want, and see if that beer has changed. Because, hey, drinking beer is all about experimentation, isn't it? I'm going to leave you with that thought of the day, and make sure you come back for more digesting beer. I'm digesting some at the moment. Hope you've liked. Please comment, please subscribe, click like to my channel. We'll see you real soon for some more beer reviews. Take care, guys. Digest some beer.